Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to the Division 2. Today, I've got a huge news update for you. You may have noticed that things have been pretty quiet in the Division space the past few weeks. That is fairly typical this time of year as the employees at Massive Entertainment are on rotating holiday as part of Sweden's summer vacations. But it looks as though they saved everything up to drop in one go today. Tomorrow, not only are we receiving the Year 8 Season 2.2 patch, but that comes alongside the new summer event called the Dust Storm. We got a ton of details about that. We also heard a little bit more about the upcoming incursion called Broken Rain. They're releasing a new exotic for the Paradise Lost incursion. There's a ton of stuff to break down here. So we're going to start out with the dev stream recap and then move over to the patch notes afterwards, but there is a ton to go over in this video and we'll get straight to it. If you don't want to miss out on any of this stuff coming to the game very soon, then be sure to subscribe. I have to give a huge shout out and thank you as always to our channel members. I could not continue to do what I do on this channel without your support, so thank you so much for everything that you do. But all right, let's get to it. So, beginning with the dev stream recap, they only announced that this was happening this morning, but Leo and Anais, two of our community developers, joined us to discuss the Year 8 Season 2 Dust Storm event. In it, the Warlords of New York map is going to get updated with new enemy encounters, new weather patterns, new rewards, and they laid out all the details here. This was a pre-recorded stream, though, as both of our two hosts are on vacation, as I mentioned in the intro, but it played out just like a normal stream would, including the detail, in case you were concerned, that the Warlords of New York expansion will be made free from July 21st tomorrow through August 11th. So, just like back during the anniversary event, the expansion will be free so that anybody who is at level 40 and has completed the Warlords campaign can partake in this event. So don't worry about being left out. They started off by playing the trailer for the event, which I may have already been running in the background so you can see the full thing. The effects here look quite cool. The fact that there's like yellow lightning, the just intensity of the dust storm, and then you see the agents walk out of the haze in this full garb. Looks very Mad Max. So, to give us the details, Bogdan from the Bucharest team paged into the stream. He is from the design team. He said he has focused on seasonal events in the past. He led many of the efforts on the winter and the cherry blossom events before now. So let's get to the details. He said that the Dust Storm event was inspired by realism. They wanted something to fit the summer aesthetic that wasn't going to be out of fantasy, like a beach party. And they also wanted to find a way to incorporate the DLC maps, as they know that players want to go to other places besides just DC. So, how this is going to work is that while you are on the New York map, things are going to rotate between the calm and raging storms. When you are within a calm storm, you're going to see more periodic enemy spawns and more milder storm conditions. And he said that these calm storms will last for anywhere between 16 to 18 minutes, and they occur every time you load into the Warlords map. But after that period, that is when the raging storm begins, and in that you will see much more constant enemy spawns. During this event, we have a new event squad called the Dust Devils. They are part of the Rikers faction. This is just the same as the Kitsunibi or the Krampuslauf from the past two events that we've had. Like during the Cherry Blossom event, there is going to be a unique enemy modifier active for these guys, and that is that they will increase their damage dealt to you while at close range, but they will also take more damage at close range, so a bit of a high risk, high reward choice there. In addition, like how we had the lanterns back during the Cherry Blossom event, these storm beacons will be scattered around the New York map, and each one of them you claim will give you some good loot. It is pulling from the same pool that is available from the event gear cache, which we'll talk about later. Bogdan noted that these will spawn in new enemies, much like the lanterns did in the last event, but you do need to keep moving for that to happen. It's not necessarily going to be an instantaneous spawn in. But the nice thing, and I'm really happy to hear this, is that all of these beacons across the New York map will reset each day, meaning the ultimate goal should be to find an ideal farm and loop of these to go and complete. That will definitely be a video that you'll see hitting the channel later this week. Stay tuned. On top of the Dust Devil squad, you have new event bosses. Those are named Paul and Black Lung. Paul uses cloaking tech and is armed with a sniper, whereas Black Lung is an out-of-cover, heavy-duty LMG user. Killing these two bosses the first time will award their cosmetic headgear, but then each time you defeat them, you will get a guaranteed event key. And finally, they did confirm that there are rumors of a new hunter out there lurking in the storm. He has a chance to spawn in each time that a storm concludes, and they did show off the mask reward reward that you can get for taking him down. After this, they then shifted over to rewards, just like we had for the Winter and Cherry Blossom events. There are 3 distinct chests that you can turn your keys into. For one, there is the Community Challenge chest. This time they're going to be donation goals of 1 million, 5 million, and 10 million keys. And again, this is now tracked across all platforms. The respective rewards for those tiers are going to be a shirt, shoes, and pants of 1 full outfit. But this time they have beefed up the personal donation track. No longer is it only going to be arm patches, but alongside those, you will now get an exclusive St. Elmo's and Lexington weapon skin. So that's quite cool. Looking forward to those. In addition, then you have the usual gear, cash option, as well as the apparel one. The apparel cash this time around is going to include 5 unique outfits, 43 total cosmetic items from here, and the completion reward for that will be a Pulse skill VFX, which I'm hyped for. I've been waiting for them to do more skill VFXs beyond just the 4 skills that they've done so far, so can't wait to see what that looks like. Would be very cool if it was like a dust wave that goes out. I inadvertently skipped over this, but for the gear cache and through the event rewards overall, there is a new event weapon this time around. It is called the Rabid D50, and it has an exclusive talent called Foam at the Mouth. It says, after killing an enemy with a headshot, applies ensnare to the next enemy, grants 25% amplified damage to ensnared enemies. So kind of an expanded version of one of those status-based talents. I'll be interested to play around with that one and see what we can do. Finally, then in terms of event details and rewards, there is going to be a login reward for this. So for the entirety of the event duration, which is July 21st through August 11th, you just need to log in and you'll receive this mask. All right, talking about feedback, again, Bogdan was involved with both the Winter and Cherry Blossom events, so Leo and Anais asked him what the team has learned from those to incorporate now into the Dust Storm. One thing he mentioned was key generation. It used to work on an RNG system, but this time they're swapping that to a kill requirement. So for example, on heroic difficulty, every 10 kills that you get of an event enemy, you get 1 key. They also noted that there's going to be a daily boost where the first 150 enemies that you kill each day during the event, the requirements for those keys get halved. I think that's quite nice, and it rewards people who don't necessarily have the time to play for hours and hours on end. Finally, then he said that the team wanted to try and find a way to incorporate the chaos of the Ronin exploit that we saw during the Cherry Blossom event into an intended gameplay format, and so he thinks that is something that we will see here, that same level of intensity and pressure during these storms. Definitely looking forward to see if that comes true. And his final advice for us is that he said this event is very movement dependent, so the more that you move, the more intense your experience will be and the more spawns that you will get, whereas if you want a little bit more of a calmer session, then clearing out enemies and remaining more stationary will slow those spawns down. But that was all from Bogdan. He paged out for the remainder of the stream. Leo and Anais then fired off a number of surprise announcements here towards the end. The first one of those is the return of Realism Mode. That's right, we saw this back in March during the anniversary event, but for the duration of the Dust Storm event from July 21st through August 11th, given that Warlords of New York is going to be made free, once again, they are reinstating Realism Mode. They did clarify that you will have to start a new character, even if you did have one during the anniversary event, but there may be a reason to. Not only is there going to be a Salt Flat LMG skin for completing the campaign on regular difficulties, but if you go and complete the Warlords campaign on Realism Mode with a hardcore character, you will get that same skin, but with a dynamic kill counter on it. This is never something that we've seen in the Division before. They also did not show it to us on the stream here, but man, I'm gonna have to grind for that. The idea of having kill counters on skins in the Division, I better see that expanded to more stuff down the line. So, Realism returns. They also confirmed that the next classified assignments will release alongside tomorrow's update. This is going to be taking place at the McMillian Reservoir, NCS responding to a Division agent distress call. Not a ton more details beside that, but they did confirm that they're introducing a new weekly rotation for the Year 1 classified assignments. And each week, this means that one of these missions will be available in a free capacity. So if you do not own the Year 1 classified assignments, then keep an eye on this rotator to be able to check out some new content. They confirmed that the National Bond Armory will be the first mission available from July 21st through the 28th. And then, as I said, they will rotate weekly from there. Next, it was confirmed that tomorrow's update will kick off the next creator collaboration in-game. This will feature the creators Charles, Felipe Ramos, hope I'm saying that right, and NGN. Pretty similar format to what we are accustomed to. With these, the arm patch codes will be given out by the creators themselves on their social channels. The t-shirts, hoodies, and hats for these guys will be out in the open world containers, whereas the backpacks can be earned by completing the given project chains, and this time that is going to be consisting of New York activities, again, given Warlords is free. So, pretty cool stuff. Very happy for them to get their stuff in game. The team did confirm that a new round of Twitch drops is on the way. This begins tomorrow and runs for 1 week through July 28th. There are a variety of rewards that you can get for watching for up to 4 hours, and those include, as you can see, 2 arm patches, 1 weapon skin, and 1 named item and exotic cash. I myself will have these drops active on the Twitch channel. If you want to check us out at twitch.tv/rogue_gold, we will be live tomorrow for the launch of the update as well as on Thursday this week. So we'd love to see you there, and you'll get some free stuff if you want to tune in. We weren't done yet though, because they finally gave us a few details involving incursions. Firstly, as we suspected from the Ubisoft leaks a few weeks ago, it was confirmed that August 11th is the date for the new Broken Rain incursion. That's right, we now have the official name. We did not get a ton of details on this here, but they did confirm that more are on the way. However, there are going to be 24-hour and 1-week completion window rewards for this new incursion. So they incentivize getting your team together, start practicing so that you can try and capitalize on those reward windows. And they're doing 2 things to make that even easier / more rewarding. 1, for the duration of the Dust Storm event, so for the next 3 weeks, they're enabling the ability to run global events within incursions. So I believe they said that Assault and Ambush are in the upcoming calendar, so you can run those in Paradise Lost if you want an even easier clear. But then 2, they're surprise dropping a new exotic marksman rifle into Paradise Lost. That's right, the previous incursion. It's going to be called Prima Donna, and they said the talent is called You Can Look But You Can't Touch. The exact wording of this may not be 100%, but the talent is basically that when out of combat, you can gain up to 10 stacks, and then when you're in combat, as long as you avoid damage, it will give you bonus damage to your shot per stack you have. But if you do start to take damage, then every landed hit will consume a stack to heal you. Sounds pretty cool, and I'm absolutely going to be diving back into Paradise Lost tomorrow to pick this up. So that was about everything from the dev stream, but again, a ton of info in there. But we're not done yet. Let's now flip over to the patch notes to fill in the rest of the details. Okay, so here we have the Year 8 Season 2.2 patch notes. Obviously, a good amount of this is going to be retreading of what we just covered in the dev stream, so this will be kind of a breezy covering of these, but there is some additional information that we will dive into, and as always, these will be linked down below so that you can go back and scroll for yourself. But let's get to it here. They start out with all of the Dust Storm stuff. This is the login reward once again starting tomorrow. These are all of the various different details about the storm conditions. They do lay out the different modifiers here, so you can see the exact percentages for decreased damage, increased damage, and there is actually a status resistance modifier as well if you fight them further than 26 meters. Alright, if we continue on down here, they talk about the 2 bosses, which we took a look at, some more pictures of the Dust Storms themselves. This is a good one to take a look at. This is the overall graphic for the event. They show this very briefly on the stream, but you can see the community cache is going to award you with the Paul outfit here. The apparel cache has these 5 different outfits. We have the Rabbit D50 coming out of the gear cache. We have the personal milestones with the 2 new skins, but also look at this beaut, the Black Blizzard Pulse VFX skin. I cannot wait to get this thing. That's going to be sick. So moving on down, they talk about keys, they talk about boss kills. So they mentioned that every 10 kills on Heroic will get you a key. Those totals increase a little bit if you go on lower difficulties, because of course the challenge is not as high, but you can get keys by defeating the Dust Devil kill squads, the bosses, or the Scoured Hunter. And once again, highlighting the daily boost here, which I think is a great addition, but every day the first 150 kills will have these requirements listed here cut in half. Once again, they go into more detail down here about the specifics included in each cache, including the apparel cache. You can fully pause and read the talent for the Rabbit D50 here if you wish. We get the percentages that are going to be within the gear cache, so you can get a prototype prototype version of the Rabbit D50 at a 1% drop. There's a 0.5% chance to get a prototype gear set or seasonal named weapon. The standard event weapon itself is going to be a 10% drop here. And then finally, most of the rest of these should be the usual stuff that we see included within these caches, although they now include gear and skill mods. Was that the same for Cherry Blossom? I don't think so. Hopefully these will be high rolled. That would actually be a pretty nice change. So we already took a look at the totals here for the community challenge. Here's the exact reward track for the personal donations. Okay, that is most of the stuff for the Duststorm event. They talk about the classified assignment, which we already went over. This is the full free rotation for the year 1 missions coming up. As we said, Realism Mode is returning for the duration of the Duststorm event, including the kill count version of the skin, which again is so cool. I hope we say that expanded to more things moving forward. We have the creator collaboration here, which you can better see all of their outfits and pieces. Down here, I think they just break down how it works, which should be pretty similar to how it has before. Alright, here is some of the surprise stuff. So again, Paradise Lost is getting a refresh tomorrow with a new exotic reward, and the Ambush and Assault global events will be active in here when they come into rotation. So once again, the Prima Donna marksman rifle with the you can look but you can't touch talent. So 12.5% amplified damage per stack, but one stack is consumed to repair you if you take damage. It does say alongside its talent, the Prima Donna has notably different stats from the regular MK20 that includes 417.7 thousand base damage, a rate of fire of 55, and a magazine size of 7. I'm not 100% familiar with the base stats of the MK20, but I'll have to compare that to in-game later. They do note here the Prima Donna will not be replacing the Ouroboros. Instead, both exotics will drop in the same way, with a higher chance from the final chest of the Incursion and a low chance from completion of the Wright, Martinez, and Johnson named boss encounters. So yeah, really excited actually to dive back into Paradise Lost, have a new reward to chase. That's pretty sweet. Moving on, we have the upcoming slate of events. Kenley College is back. I've had a few of you asking me where it is gone. It is returning tomorrow through the 28th. Also tomorrow we have an optimization surge going on, then a prototype surge on August 4th. My goodness, the best time to push your tech beyond its limits with double escalation tokens and prototype cores from all sources throughout the event. That's going to be a pretty bustling window, I imagine. Tuesday, August 4th through the 7th. Beginning a little bit before that, we have a Vanguard Overdrive that will run from the 31st to the 4th. Then starting next Tuesday, we have Assault, which again, this will now work within Paradise Lost if you want to wait to play that with this event. Tech Overdrive begins on the 7th, and then Ambush will start on the 4th. Moving on here to changes and fixes, we have some pretty big ones here actually for escalation. They have adjusted some of the available mutators within the mode, including replacing Hotfoot. That's right, Hotfoot is going out of rotation. It's now going to be replaced with a new one called Isaac Says. It says players receive one of 3 random debuffs. Debuffs can be removed by completing certain actions. Successfully removing a debuff grants plus 30% rate of fire. So if you get a red debuff, that means you have 25% less weapon damage, and you need to destroy a weak point to remove that. If you get a blue debuff, that's negative 30% weapon handling. You need to kill or assist with 3 enemies. And green is then 30% increased skill cooldowns, and you need to kill an enemy with a sidearm. I mean, I guess some of these might be like a little bit annoying to perform, but giving 30% rate of fire for doing it and not having to deal with Hotfoot anymore, I think that just made escalation tier 10 a good bit easier, I would think. They've also now replaced Suppressor with a mutator called One for All. Enemies affected by One for All grant 50% damage resistance to allies within 20 meters. Damaging One for All marked enemies will propagate that damage to all of their allies within that range. Does that mean you shoot the enemy that has the 50% and then all the other enemies get that, or they're the source of it? I'm gonna need to check that one out. The wording on it is a little weird. If you just have to shoot the enemy once and then you're done with it, that's fine. But if this is like an ability that spreads among an entire squad, that almost feels like it's just replacing Anchor, which they removed at the start of the season because it was overly punishing. So I don't know. We'll check out One for All. But the changes to mutators here, I did not see coming, but that's pretty big. Finally, here under fixes, a few notable ones. They say fixed an issue where the Tinkerer mask could stack multiple talents simultaneously. This is going on the 8th, 9th, 10th fix of this, so fingers crossed. For those of you who are asking about it, they have fixed the issue where the DZ West vendor was not selling reconstructed caches, and a bunch of other fixes as you can see here, including, I was not aware of this, but deconstructing the Imperial Dynasty holster was not granting exotic components to players. Whoops. Okay, but that is about it. They have some final known issues, including players cannot change the displayed difficulty on the Kenley College leaderboard, and bronze mastery timers at Kenley are not being displayed properly. But that is it. They otherwise say to use the bug reporter, as always, if you run into any issues, but that should be the entirety of the Year 8 Season 2.2 patch notes. So there you have it, folks. A whole ton of information dropping today after, again, quite a few weeks and days here without much news coming out at all. I would love to know all of your thoughts about the dev stream, about the patch notes, about everything that is releasing in game tomorrow. What do you think about how Duststorm is looking? What do you think about the refreshes to the Paradise Lost incursion? What do you think about Realism coming back? Again, there is a ton. I'll be very curious to read all of your thoughts down below. Once again, I will be live tomorrow with this new update, including Twitch drops over on the Twitch channel if you want to check us out. I'd appreciate it. But otherwise, stay tuned for plenty of more videos and coverage coming this week. But that's about everything from me. Folks, thank you all so much for coming by and watching. I'll see you back soon. Until then, RogueGold. Ow. Oh! We just got a Ravenous! Haha! I might not be friendly. Let's go.
Coming to the Division 2.
Let's go!
And